Welcome to Breaking the Chain. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Cody.
And today we're just going to do a big year review. We're going to be talking about the channel. We're going to be talking about Flesh and Blood overall. We're going to be talking about ourselves in Flesh and Blood overall. It's just a big year review.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting year. And thought since next week it'll be when we record, usually on Fridays. Next week will be after January 1st. So we want to do a nice year in review, summarize what we've experienced this year with the channel, and yeah, kind of reflect over that, and talk about the next year as well, what we're hoping for next year. So let's start as usual as we do with every episode. How was your week in Flesh and Blood?
I have not done anything Flesh and Blood the last 2 weeks. It's Christmas. It's crazy busy out with family.
That's actually something I want to point out first, is that this is the first time we podcasted together in like 3 weeks now.
Yeah, it is.
Because last week you were out of town, and so I co-hosted with Nora, and then the week before that I was out of town, so you co-hosted with Alex. So
yeah, it's been a crazy month.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, no surprise that it hasn't been very busy or very flesh and bloody, if you will. Busy time of the year.
Yeah, how about you? What have you done?
No, I'm in the same boat. Nothing.
Totally fair.
I have been kind of stepping back in because I didn't realize that the RTNs were so soon until last week's episode with Nora, when I was like, oh yeah, RTNs are going to be late next month, and she was like, wait, no, it's like the first week of January. And I was like, wait, what? So I looked, and
I was listening, and I heard you realize that. You're like, I need to start practicing now.
we have one of our bigger ones on January 4th. That's literally next weekend. So I've just over a week to get prepared on whatever I'm going to play. Like I'll probably just end up playing Dio, and therefore I'm mostly prepared already. But I don't know. I've been looking into some other potential spicy decks that I might play for RTN season. We'll see. Abby, are you looking into doing any RTNs? Are you going to start preparing for that?
I definitely want to do some RTNs. I got to prepare for that. I need to practice on Valda, but so I did do a couple test games on Talishar, but I'm rusty. I'm so rusty. I played those games and I got smoked. I was like, oh, I need to sit down and paper. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, I will need to get the rest off with Dio at the very minimum before I play. But I'm kind of concerned. We had a ban list recently, and we don't exactly know what the meta is shaking out to be from that. There's some talks about Acilio and Dio being the best decks. There's some talk about maybe
happy if Dio's the best deck. That I'll settle with that.
I'd just be happy if you're playing Valda instead of Jarl. That's all I'm gonna say. Jarl is that's a rough matchup. Honestly, Jarl is potentially the reason that I wouldn't play Dio. I'm kind of scared of people just bringing out the Jarls and stuff. But yeah, I know Acilio is looking pretty good. People are looking at Kasai, some of the warriors. But Verdance won at post ban. Verdance won. I think it was calling Hong Kong, I believe.
Something like that.
It's either calling or Battle-Hardened. But yeah, the post ban list, Verdance won the most recent big tournament, despite getting Rupam Carapace's banned. So still a deck, by the way, in case anyone was thinking that they could just ignore that deck and not say it exists anymore. It's still there.
I am really interested to see how to play into that deck now.
It just doesn't come online as quickly, right? Is the big thing. But otherwise, it still does its powerful things. It still has Crown of Seeds. It still has Storm Striders. Still does the strong things. It just doesn't come online. Which
does not have Crown of Seeds.
Sorry, not Crown of Seeds. What I meant to say, Storm Striders. Or did I say Storm Striders?
You did say Storm Striders.
What did I mean to say? I don't know what I meant to say. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't have Crown of, you're right. It doesn't have Crown of Seeds. But basically, what I'm trying to get at though is that the main game plan for Verdance wasn't exactly getting online. Getting online was a bonus for it, and you were playing the Red Rupa and Carapaces because they blocked for 4. there were 4 power D reacts that would get you to that additional goal. But you don't have to get online to win the game as Verdance. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, it lost, a good defensive tool, and it lost this extra end game, but it's still doing mostly everything it was already doing before.
Still dealing 6 arcane into 3 arcane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem is that your first felling might be for 4 instead of 8, because you can't decompose first with a root down KRS. Yeah, it's like which I mean that's something, right? That's like
it is
probably
something.
like losing 3 value on every game, right? Because you have to throw a decompose attack first before felling, or else you lose 4 value, right? So it is something, but it's still not like, sometimes people will see bans on a deck and be like, oh, the deck's dead, and that's definitely not the case for Verdance. Even despite losing Broodbound Carapace.
Or Gravy.
Yeah, especially Gravy. Gravy lost some slight power budget, but that's it. he's still here.
They nerfed his worst matchup and took a card from the deck.
Yep. That's basically it.
But
a good blue for what it's worth, but
it is a very good blue. Yeah.
But still, I still expect to see plenty of Gravies, plenty of Verdances at my RTNs. So yeah. So Week in Fab was a little bit spry, which is expected considering the holidays. Speaking of, how was your Christmas?
It was good.
Yeah.
I actually got like very little flesh and blood when I normally get a lot, but
yeah.
outside that, it was good. I was able to get with the family. It was actually pretty calm. I was telling you a little before the podcast, but normally like my family has like huge events where all the cousins and everything came in, but like yesterday it was just like me, my dad, my brothers. So it was
nice.
It was nice.
Yeah, a little relaxing. Yeah, I had Christmas with my family. It was 8 of us total, because my brothers brought their girlfriends, and my grandma was in town as well. So it was a nice like medium Christmas. And I got Smash Palace recently, actually during the Black Friday sale that they were doing to get the Black Friday pack. And my brothers were interested in playing that, so that'll be kind of cool. Flesh and Blood related Christmas. We might be playing that today, actually. So excited for that. Yeah. But yeah, good Christmas. Got a lot of nice gifts. I got some more Flesh and Blood cards. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. Oh, I wish I had some stuff to show, but my wife and I were too tired to unpack the car last night, so all our gifts are just in the trunk. But I got a really cool deck box and sleeves that I'm excited for as well. But yeah, let's jump into the spoilers. We got 2. The first is a Stonewall Gauntlet reprint, which looks really cool. I don't know if you've seen any of these spoilers. But they're
seen the spoilers.
Yeah, okay, cool. just making sure. They have the new border on them like the rest of the reprints. And then we got a Crown of Dominion reprint, but this isn't in Compendium of Wraith. This is actually in Gem Pack 4. A well overdue reprint, because this card, by the way, Crown of Dominion, before Dromai started using it more prevalently with the Redline deck that Mara popularized, it was like a $10, $15 card.
Something crazy cheap.
And then Mara popularized the Redline Dromai deck, and it jumped up to like $100. And then for some reason it stayed at $100. I guess because Kasai could use it. And
I mean, Victor also loves
That's right.
it. I think it's the correct helmet for Victor.
That's right. Victor also now uses it. I was trying to remember what other deck uses it. But yeah, basically Kasai started using it, and then Victor started using it. And so then it became more of a staple headpiece, because it's a generic headpiece. And so yeah, this reprint was well overdue. So it's really good to see, and it's good to see the reprint in the Gem Pack as well. That was really nice.
It was kind of it's interesting that it became so expensive, because like only 3 decks really run it. There might be some more, but it's like it's like the same amount of heroes run it as like the same amount of heroes in a specific class. So it's like weird that it was so expensive to me. It's like, oh yeah, like 4 maybe 5 heroes run this helmet, and like you have 4 or 5 guardians, but the gloves and guardians are still like $20. It's like I think it's just because it says generic, it looks.
Well, it's because nobody likes Guardian, so. No, I think it's mostly because it came out in was it Dynasty? I think it was Dynasty. Which was not a hugely popular set to crack open.
That's fair.
And so a lot of the cards in there that are desirable are just kind of pricey because of that. Um, so yeah, thankfully they're doing some more reprints. I'm curious to see how many more reprints we have. Um, I know what was I gonna say? I know that there's definitely some opportunities for more generic reprints, because we have most of the basics down, and some of these last two are like less expected. Like I didn't expect Stonewall Gauntlet reprints.
I
They
did
don't.
not either.
They honestly aren't
That
that like
I was like,
they weren't that priced to begin
oh,
with. They're like
okay,
what $25-$30 legendaries, which I think is a perfectly fine price for a legendary,
yeah.
honestly. So I didn't expect that reprint, but it kind of makes sense.
I think
Generic,
the
more generic reprints.
LSS. I'm assuming LSS assumed it was going to be a lot more expensive. That
Yeah.
or it's going to be necessary in the upcoming months.
Maybe, yeah, maybe more decks will be wanting to run this generic arm piece.
More
But
ninja.
yeah, maybe ninjas become more popular, even though it was the most popular deck, and
For
it was
like
a
the
very
last
usable card for that
year,
reason. Yeah,
2 years. Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll see. Maybe yeah, they probably know something we don't. But yeah,
yeah.
long story short, I'm curious to see how many more of these reprints that we get, um, before we get new cards spoiled instead.
Mm.
But yeah, those were the two spoilers we got over the last week. So now to the year in review. I feel like should we start with the podcast year in review or Flesh and Blood year in review? What do you think?
Um, I have no preference, but we could like we have it first, so we could talk about the podcast.
All right, let's start with the podcast. I just kind of put these in a random order. I wasn't sure which one made more sense to talk about first, but yeah, we'll start with podcast. So yeah, for those that don't want to go and search back on the dates and everything, I'll our first episode aired on February 6th of this year. So we are still less than a year old for this podcast. Um, and we'll have to figure out what we want to do for that. Oh, I think that I remember what I want to do for our 52nd episode, which was a live episode. I thought that'd be kind of fun to do.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for that. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, this is the 47th of 52 episodes. We are approaching a year, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've missed a week.
I don't think we missed a week either. I'm pretty sure we've been consistent every single week.
Yeah, we've
We
every
might
week
like the release
day.
schedule's a little inconsistent. Like mostly
Yeah.
it's Friday, but like it's definitely been Sunday some days or like Thursday, Wednesday other days. But
Yeah, we actually started by doing Wednesday podcasts. I think it was just when we
yeah,
both
that's
had.
right.
That was when we both had free time, and then I think it was a promotion, right? That you got at your job,
Mhm.
and then Fridays became a little more available for you. And I've always had Fridays off of work. I worked 410s. This year, unfortunately, it's changing next year, which actually we'll have to talk about. But this year I worked 410s, so I had every Friday off. And so Friday mornings just always worked for me. And yeah, but then we moved to Fridays, which actually was kind of nice because it was basically a precursor to the weekend. We got to talk about anything that was spoiled during the week, which is when a lot of spoilers will happen. They'll happen like early week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But yeah, the day of the week was not consistent. Long story short, but we were consistent on releasing every week, even though we had a handful of podcasts where one of us couldn't make it. And so I'm gonna do a quick shout out to all the co-hosts that guested. The guests that co-hosted. How are you? How I'm trying to phrase that. Shout out to all of the guests that we've had on the podcast. Luke, Noah, Saren, Alex, and Nora. Thank you all for filling in for one of us on the podcast to keep us at this streak of every week having our podcast happen.
Mhm.
So
It was an absolute blast having every single one of you.
Oh, yeah.
I would happily do it again.
Oh, easily, yeah. I it's no. I was gonna make a joke about not wanting me on the podcast, but no, it is fun to
Cody's
shake it up a little bit.
okay, but like the co-host, like
No,
the
it was
guest,
really
that's
fun.
where it's at.
It was really fun every time because anytime that I wasn't on the podcast, we had a co-host. I got to listen to the podcast, which is a nice experience. I got to because I always listen to like the Runaways and on the Bobble, and then I try to listen to some other ones too. But I'll like start running out podcasts to listen to. So it was always nice to have our podcast to listen to on top of those whenever I was not able to host. So again, shout out to all the guests that we had on. I really appreciate you joining us for that. Um, but yeah, and then some other things about the podcast for this year. We, I guess, technically haven't ended, but we'll just mark the count with this episode. We are currently at 179 YouTube subscribers and 53 Spotify followers. So thank you to each and every one of you that helped supported this channel and this podcast. And our best videos, actually, I didn't get the counts on these. I meant to get the count of what they were.
I can pull it up right now.
Our best performing video is your PQ Top 8 Valda Deck Tech with 1,708 views, followed by your first Valda Tech Tech at 1,472 views. And then that followed by our third best video at 1,296 views, which was our Super Slam tier list, which does not deserve any views with how bad our predictions were.
There was some pretty bad predictions.
There were some pretty bad predictions on there. We had KO. In fact, let's review that. I'm really curious on that one. Let's review what the tier list says.
How bad it is.
Which, by the way, if anyone hasn't seen that, you should just look at the thumbnail, the tier list, the meme tier list that Jacob made for the thumbnail for that, which I thought was really funny.
There was some pretty funny things.
Yeah, we had KO and S tier. By the way, this is
I think
basically
he was like fourth best. So like
he was definitely A tier. Because this was the same meta. This is the same meta that Worlds played in, right? So we had KO at S tier, and the Runaways did bring him and do pretty well with him. So he was definitely an A tier worthy hero. We had Florian at basically top of A tier, along with Acilio. That was not right. Florian fell off like a truck. We did have Syndra up there, which was correct. We had Fang up there still, not correct. Gravy, Prism, Dio. We had Victor and KO, or not, and Kano at A tier.
Victor was probably top of B tier.
Yeah. Speaking of top of B tier.
Our hottest and most wrong take. Well, my hottest and most wrong take.
Yeah, was Verdansk, which I think you want to put in C tier, and I was like, I don't know about that. Let's move it up to B tier.
I don't know if I wanted to put her in C tier. I just remember I'm like, she's not gonna be that good. She lost her combo. How else is she
That's right,
supposed to win?
because she lost the plume, and we are like,
Yeah,
oh no,
like,
she's dead. Little did we know.
Anyways, and Mario right behind her. That was fourth best hero.
Yeah, Mario being up there was correct. Same with Kasai. I mean, they definitely should have been in A tier, like bottom of A tier instead. But
I still hold by my Valda or by the Valda spot. I think that is correct.
No, yeah, I think the Valda spot's correct. Pleiades was definitely too high.
Yeah.
What else?
You could argue Lyeth is a little too high too.
Actually, no. Lyeth is probably where he belongs after his recent performance.
Maybe.
And Reinar's too high. Katsu's too high. Puffin and is that Ira? Puffin and Ira are a little too high. Same with Vincent.
Yeah.
Anyone else too low? Marlon might be too low. Marlon might be like bottom of B actually.
Yeah. All right, like generically, it looks like we did okay, but I think that our hot takes were too hot and we burnt the dish. So
no. Well, okay. Maybe it's not a hot take, but Tough Nut being in Don't Play was definitely correct.
Yeah.
Despite all the flame I got from primarily Noah for it. Tough Nut did belong in Don't Play.
A little bit from me too, but it was just because I like Tough Nut, not because he's good.
I see. But yeah, so definitely does deserve the third best views. But it is what it is. We'll be better next time about our tier list.
Maybe next episode we do another tier list, and this time we're 100% correct, guaranteed.
Well, you know what's funny is that we're podcasters, so everything we say are facts, 100% guaranteed facts.
Yeah.
So I had to correct Nora on this. I had to make sure she knew. We're on a podcast. We're not saying opinions here. We're saying facts.
All objective.
Yes.
So it's actually, that was the correct tier list. People just didn't play to it. They just did whatever they wanted. Yeah.
Exactly. People just, did what they wanted to do instead of following what the actual tier list was. I agree.
Yeah,
you make a good point. But yeah, actually, that's a good idea. Next year or next week, that'd actually be a pretty good idea to do a tier list. It'd be a precursor to our RTN season. So
Mm.
that's a good idea. We'll talk about that. But anyway, third best video was our tier list. That didn't deserve it. um, anything else you want to review on the podcast for our first year of podcasting?
Like, so one thing I want to like add to all of this is like, thank you everyone that's been here listening as a guest or like, or being here just to help on the podcast or anything. Like, if you involved at any point of the process of anything, thank you. You've helped a lot. It's been like really motivational to be able to like come and see all the views and like see people talking about it and like having comments, and it's really cool. So like I just really wanted to say thank you. But also it's like next year I want to push to do more content. Like I'm not gonna guarantee it's like, here's like a Vala deck tech every single week or like more streams, because I definitely want to do more streams. I've only done like 2 or 3, but I want to
Yeah.
do some more streaming, and like I want to like upload some more videos. It might still be like pretty sparse, but I think it'd be cool to be able to be like, hey, look at this really cool thing that I'm thinking in Flesh and Blood, or I don't know, like this random deck popped in my head. So why don't I just make this really weird deck tech or something like that? But
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be like a small goal of mine, is to like put out or a bit more like miscellaneous goals.
That's actually a good idea though. I actually have next week off of work, and I do need to do some practice for RTN season. So I look out for some live streams of some Dio gameplay from me. Uh, yeah, that's a good idea. I think getting more content out there besides just the weekly podcast, whether it's streams or deck techs or just like anything really. Like I think once and I'll talk about this later in this podcast. Once I finish my collection sorting, I think I want to make a video on that. I think it'd be kind of cool to say, hey, here's how I sorted my collection. Here's how I organized it. Here's what I recommend for those of you looking to do something in the future when it comes to this organization, because I think I made some mistakes with that when I started, and now I'm kind of locked into it.
Yeah.
But I think that'll be a cool video to make in the future. But yeah, I agree. Like the podcast was the primary like thing we wanted to do, but now that we have this weekly cadence of the podcast, there's still so much more we can do and so much more
Mm.
interesting stuff when it comes to content creation.
Well, and it's like I think the cool thing to me was like, oh, okay, like we're podcasters, whatever. We don't really do videos, but when I did like the Valda stuff, I'm like, man, I really love Valda, and there's no one talking about Valda. I'm like, I've got to step in and at least say something. And I mean, we were just talking about it. Like those are two of our best performing videos. So it's like
People
there's
want it.
definitely like yeah, people want that, and it's like something that's really cool to be able to like put that out and like see these perform well. So it's like,
It
why
was
not do
always
some more?
it was always funny too seeing people like comment like recently on your older Valda Tech Tech before we even got Mastery Pack Guardian, and just like getting still some traction on that video. And so anyway, yeah, there's just not much
Yeah.
content when it comes out to comes to some of these heroes. So yeah, and that's actually I'll talk about this later on too, but I think it'd be interesting to dive it like spread into further heroes, which will happen a lot with when it comes to Silver Age. That is one thing I'm looking forward to with Silver Age, is getting to play a lot more heroes in that format.
Mhm.
And I would definitely look out for a lot of Silver Age content on this channel next year.
That would be cool.
Um, yeah. Anything else about our podcast for the past year?
I think we covered a lot of the podcasts and like kind of our like future ideas and ideals. So
Yeah, and we'll
I'm
we'll
ready to
dive into the
jump
future
into
stuff further later. But yeah, we can jump
yeah
into the past year in Flesh and Blood.
the meat
Um,
and potatoes.
yeah, the meat and potatoes. We actually got a recap from LSS themselves. I actually missed this article. I guess it didn't get posted to our Discord. But it was a Happy Holidays article that they released on December 19th, and it has a section here, a bulleted list of things for 2025. So I'm going to read out some of the interesting ones. Um, so they launched Silver Age, which I think is going to be one of the best things for the game.
Mhm.
Um, they say invested in our live stream until it became the best in the business, and I definitely agree with that.
I 100%.
completely
Agree.
I actually watched some other live streams this year of other games like Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone. Just like I just wanted something I have while I'm working or whatever. And it was just night and day the difference in quality between Flesh and Blood streams and those. And I remember actually I think it was Fino that talked about this on one of the episodes recently, where he said he was watching a Magic stream and he couldn't even follow what was going on as a previous Magic player compared to LSS live streams, where they you can watch it as a new player and really understand what's going on because we have such great casters, such great production quality. Um, the like the backup games and stuff to keep the action going has been huge for viewer retention
Mm.
and everything with that. So yeah, definitely agree with that they stepped up the live streaming this year. Uh, Held the first ever calling in Germany after being recognized as a game of skill by the German government. Huge achievement that happened this year.
Crazy. That one's so cool.
Very, very, very cool. Um, Saw record armory event attendance across all regions. That's actually pretty cool. I didn't see that before. Reached a milestone 5,000 gem stores. Sick. Reached
Choice. That's pretty cool.
1 million official matches played in 2025, surpassing 5 million official matches overall. Held the biggest ProQuest season ever with ProQuest Yokohama, which means the game's just growing. All these things are just saying game's growing, which is amazing. Brought the Pro Tour to London and Singapore and the World Championship to Philadelphia. Crowned our first player of the year, which was Brody Spurlock. Collaborated with Weta Workshop at San Diego Comic Con. Actually, don't know what that is. I probably should skip
I
that one.
don't.
Supported our content creator community with 25,000 USD. Yeah, they had these content creator grants that they did,
Which is
pretty cool.
super cool.
Launched a new website. That was massive. The For those of you that might have started post a new website, having to print out your deck list for every, it's like tier 2 and up, I think is what it is, tier 3 and up, event is was kind of tough. So just getting to upload your deck list online, they even have the deck builder online too to use that, was a big deal.
It
Yeah.
simplified so much
Oh,
too. It like, and I
definitely.
felt so bad always handing my list into the judge if I didn't like print it off and I had to write in because I'm like, this is illegible. Like,
Yep.
good luck if I make it to top four. Like, you're gonna be like scratching your head and hoping you can read this. So
I played a Riftbound skirmish, which is like kind of like an RTN ProQuest level tournament, and
yeah,
they didn't have the online deck list submission. I had to do a paper deck list, and I showed up with like 5 minutes to spare, and they were like, "Oh, if you don't have your deck list in by the time we're starting, you're gonna get a game 1 loss or whatever." So I just like scribbled together really quickly my deck list, and it was basically ineligible. It sucked. So huge deal. Long story short, I really like the change, the deck list upload. The fact that they've collaborated with local creators, not local creators. What I'm looking for, local. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is it's collaborated with Fabry, so you can just pull the link, Fabry link, and upload it that way too, which is phenomenal.
that was so cool.
Mhm.
That was so
So
cool.
really nice. They introduced gem packs, awesome new pricing for local game stores. That's a big deal too.
Mhm.
Actually, I went to. I unfortunately could not play on Tuesday at the Armory, but I did. I was there to trade some cards, and I think there were like 25 players or something there. It was insane. It was
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, there were a lot of players on that Tuesday, which was really cool to see. So not only was that a sign that the game's growing, but there's just so much incentive to play these armories with the gem packs.
Mm.
And where was I? Released our fully fledged board game, Smash Palace. I did see this earlier. I don't know if I would call it a board game necessarily. I mean, it
Yeah.
is board gamey, but it is it is interesting that they consider it like a fully fledged board game.
It's something that I've definitely wanted to make a board game out of it where it's like, hey, here's Smash Palace. Here's the two mats that come with it. I have these three decks, and I want to do it where it's like you have Kasai because Kasai likes gold, and you have sure two of the Guardian Smash Palace heroes in there. Probably the one that has like Crix because there's a Marvel of her, and then like I don't know who else cares about gold.
Um, there's some decks that
Gravy
like want to
bones,
filter. Oh yeah, gravy definitely. But you don't probably don't want
Pioneers
to have
of
gravy
Pirates.
in that in that format. But yeah, it would be cool to like have pre-built decks for it, right?
Yeah, And I mean,
I
you could probably have gravy if you give like the Guardians like
yeah.
Midas touch or something to help deal with it.
I would say though that where PVE, we still need PVE LSS. I actually,
Where PvE?
speaking of, I've been like brainstorming my own version of PVE where it's like Marvel Champions esque. I do want to try to like get some locals together to play test that eventually. But
One,
I go ahead.
yeah. I was gonna say one thing I've always like wanted to do is like also just like a flesh and blood, uh, shoot, like D&D esque thing.
Yes, yeah.
It's
Well,
like I
we need
wanted
more
to
lore to do
like
that.
well, it's like I wanted like a flesh and blood D&D esque game that like we play D&D and then we're like, oh, we're into combat and we pull out two flesh and blood decks instead, or like
That'd be
flesh
kind
and
of
blood
cool.
decks. And it's like something I've always wanted to do, but I do not have that much like free time.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's cool that they're going in this direction, trying to get more casual player base involved with the Smash Palace, and it
Mhm.
was a nice thing that they did this year. What else is next? They put in all caps, "Made Rock playable," which it is playable. You can play it.
That's the
um,
most important bullet point on this list.
yeah,
Screw the streaming, screw the grant, screw the deck builder.
Rock's playable.
Rock's playable.
Introduced the new Mastery Pack Booster Series, which is pretty cool. And they have
Uh,
two new more next year, or is it one
Two
next
more
year?
next year.
Yeah,
I want to say that like that one I don't feel as strong as a bullet point on, but I think
yeah.
that's but
It
I'm hoping that it's like improved upon in the next year. Like I hope they learned a lot from Guardian Mastery Pack. Like I hope they learned a lot about Guardian Mastery Pack. And I
yeah,
think it could be a really successful series if done correctly. So I'm
yeah. I agree. I think it's a cool concept. I think it
yeah.
fell a little bit short when it came to the first one, but like I do appreciate that LSS takes these risks and
Yeah,
is trying new things, and we'll see how
I
that
agree.
affects the future Mastery
And
Packs.
I think it's something that could be really cool and impactful, but Guardian Mastery Pack was not impactful.
Yeah, yeah. A couple more like playable cards in that set would have gone a long way for sure. I
I
think
think
like we said when we were first reviewed the set was I mean I guess more I said it was making it crack shuffle play compatible is probably what made it a bit rough.
I think I think the pull rates were just awful. Like I think if you just increase the pull rate, sure, crack shuffle plays a little more powerful, but like who doesn't like doing powerful things?
Right.
Two, like put like one good majestic in that all the guardians could use.
What do you mean? They have Test of Iron Grip. All of them can use that, right?
Technically, all of them can use daily grind,
Yeah,
and
yeah. There you go too.
technically, they all say guardian on them.
But anyway, I don't want to shun the product too
Yeah,
much. I've already done it a lot.
sorry, I know.
But
I'm just a
yeah,
guardian player, and I'm so salty from it. But like, I think it's definitely something where it's like if they've learned a lot from Guardian Mastery Pack, it could be a really good product. Like there was a lot of good things from it.
yeah,
I'm just I just hope they took a lot from that and they're like, oh wow, that was interesting. Well,
yeah.
let's completely change it and fix it.
My prediction is next year is going to be the year of the warrior, and there's going to be a
Mm,
warrior mastery pack to go along with
I
the Hala
imagine.
guardian or armory deck. But anyway, the rest of this list is they launched the World Tour Weekly with Majin Bay, which is
Which
pretty
is very
cool.
cool.
Uh, Launched the new series of competitive articles, which has been really cool. I don't know if you've looked into too many of those, but it's all these pro players
Read
that
a couple,
will
but
do these articles on whether they're decks that are actual meta decks or maybe fun decks or alternative format decks. There are some pretty cool articles from players there. Um, and then celebrated 8 heroes achieving living legend status. Yeah,
that's crazy. I
pretty cool.
can't like I didn't realize so many heroes LL'd.
Yeah, there was a lot this last year. And it's kind of gonna keep going up because they just introduced that change, and all the older heroes are at that 1.5x rate, and potentially gonna be more playable with the Compendium of Wraith. So I expect actually decent amount of LLs next year. Um, I think a lot of the old heroes will start rotating out. But yeah, that was LSS's Flesh and Blood year in review. Some extra stuff I wanted to add here was there were 3 sets this year. Or sorry, there were technically 4 sets this year, but 3 sets that from when we started. There was Hunted in January, High Seas in April, I believe. May. It was May. Mastery Pack Guardian soon after, and then Super Slam in the fall. And then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8/9, because I guess it's technically 9 armory decks. Aurora, Max, Gravy, Ira, Viserai, Prism, Pleiades, Rhinar, and Arachne. So a lot of armory decks this year.
Yeah. And it's something I want to like dive a little more into the sets. Like I want to like we look at like High Seas. Like I'm gonna skip Hunted for a second. High Seas, I think was like a huge success. I
Oh
think there
yeah.
were so many things they did right. Like draft was crazy fun and crazy cool. Then like the heroes are really cool and really interactive. I think that like Gravy Bones might be a little too tuned. Like he just has solutions and answers to everything. But like it's something I've said and the belief I hold is like I honestly think he's just playing like a power level of Flesh and Blood that hasn't come out yet. I don't think he's like crazy problematic. I just don't think like I think if he had the cards he has a year from now, then I think he would be totally fine and he'd still be like maybe top of A tier, but he wouldn't be as dominant as he has been. But I'm like I think he's pretty well designed. And I think that you have like I think that's like a super cool and successful set. I think Super Slam was like super innovative and it like did a lot, built on a lot of different play patterns. It it did a lot of very mechanically unique things. You got a 3 intellect hero, you got a 5 intellect hero. It sacrificed a little bit on like the drafting and like the like sealed and stuff, but they played around it and they did a really good job of like doing and making those heroes seem very cool. Like the buy-in on those heroes initially was crazy. I think again, you give them maybe 1 or 2 more power cards so they're actually relevant within the meta. It would have been I think then it would have been like a super successful one, but I still think Super Slam was a super successful set. It's also insanely fun to open, like super rares and just how good the pull rate is in that set. It's super cool. Like it's I just love like opening it up, even though I don't need anything. It's like it's cool to like open it up and be like, oh, there's a super rare. Oh, there's a majestic. There's a super rare. There's a majestic. Oh, a legendary. Like I think the pull rates were really good. It was fun to open. It was fun to like play those mechanically unique heroes. I think the only thing it fell on was like draft, but it's something that we all accepted and kind of knew, and LSS didn't force on us. And so like I give that kind of a pass. And then like the meta impact, which is probably a little less than I think most people wanted and expected, but not every set's gonna hit meta wise. So
Right. Yeah, no, I mean the fact that they made a 5 intellect hero that wasn't broken is already an achievement in and of itself.
yeah,
And it's actually like as we saw Jason Rolfe bring it to pretty good success at a recent big tournament. I think it was a calling. Can't remember where it was, but anyway, but it was like a 250 player calling. Did really well with. It's a playable deck. It's not terrible.
I think a
And
lot of them are playable decks. I like
mhm.
honestly, again, I think it's mostly that Gravy Bones is a little overtuned. That's like holding them back because none of them can deal with him. Like, there's just no solution for Guardian and Brute to take out a ally
Yeah,
hero.
yeah, that is
But
a
it,
tough one for all of them.
but I'm like, if like imagine Gravy Bones was out of the picture. Like, I think they're actually pretty relevant heroes into the meta, except for maybe Tough Nut. But it's something where it's like it's still really cool and really interesting that they're there and they exist. And like, not that I like want Gravy Bones gone, like, but I think Gravy like I said enough about him, but it is like cool and interesting, and I think it was a good set, and there's a lot of really cool things to see from that set
Yeah,
and expect from the future. Like they experimented, and I think they successfully experimented in a lot of ways.
yeah,
Like you said, the 5 intellect hero that's not broken, Guardian instance that blocked 3, which is crazy. You look at RKO that makes every base 6. And then you even have Tough Nut that is like a 3 intellect hero, but with like a pitch, like making a 3 intellect hero like semi playable. Like he
Mhm.
maybe needs a little bit more work, but it's something that's like possible. It
He's like
looks super
pretty
interesting.
close to being actually decent too.
Yeah. It's like I think he really struggles against like wide decks, and that's about it. If you got like one really weird piece of equipment that only worked with him,
Yeah, like almost like a pseudo quick dodge flexors type thing. Um,
yeah.
like could be repeated. Yeah. Yeah. So pretty good. The with Super Slam set, despite the challenges involved with making different intellect heroes. Um,
The
yeah.
one like, and I've said sorry, I realized
You're
I
good.
didn't even talk about Hunted. But it's like Master Guardian Pack, we've talked about it, learning experience. And then going all the way back to Hunted, it's like that's the one set that I think they did a lot of fun things with it too. I think they did some really interesting things. I think the flavor was cool. I think the way they had Arachne like switch into like different versions of themselves, super cool.
Yeah.
Like it was a really cool set. The like I want to say that it was probably my least favorite set of the year, but I think it's just how it dealt with daggers is really the biggest gripe where I think it just broke what is common value of Flesh and Blood. But that's my own opinion. But I think like Flavorfully and most like most things mechanically is like really cool and interesting.
Yeah, I thought yeah, I guess if I want to go over all the sets, yeah, I actually really liked Hunted for that reason. I thought it was cool that they had these unique ways of interacting with the weapons for three different heroes. Um, and yeah, like each hero felt very unique and flavorful. Thing with the quest to get online and become the highest value hero in the game once you do so. Syndra with the incremental value off of flicking your daggers and building your deck in a way to like maximize that. And Mario and Slippy with the way that they interact with the assassin cards. And with Mario being very modal, not modal, interchangeable between like a dagger focused and disruption focused deck.
Mhm.
I thought it was a cool set. The draft kind of suffered a little bit from variance issues, but outside of that, draft was good too. High Seas draft was phenomenal. The heroes were all super unique, and it was interesting that like Marlin and Puffin looked basically unplayable, but they're actually not bad heroes. They're both like solid B tier heroes, and that's about as much as you can ask for in a set to have all heroes very playable. Um,
Mhm.
and then uh, Super Slam with the 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 challenges they put themselves on, it was very good despite that.
Oh yeah.
Or when thinking about that, obviously maybe the heroes fell short a little bit in terms of power level, but I'm glad that they at least played it a little bit safe when it came to some of these instead of having absolutely busted, intellect changing heroes. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
because it's definitely scary. Like even hearing like a 3 intellect hero, like it's definitely scary because like how do you make that playable? Like they have to do something crazy to make a 3 intellect hero playable.
right.
Like and like pitching off the top of the deck, that's a really cool and unique way to do that. And there's a lot of cool and unique interactions that he gets to interact with because normally heroes can't do that. And it's like Rock, like making Rock playable. Like he can run Rock because he just pitches off the top of his deck instead of having to pitch for Rock.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, really cool design challenges they put on themselves, and the fact they're still experimenting with all this stuff is a highlight for
Mhm.
sure. Last thing I wanted to put here that I didn't, unless I missed it, I didn't see on their review was that they have the new demo deck, the Bravo Flattering Showman demo deck that they introduced, which I
Oh
thought was
yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah. And then, last but not least, our own year in review when it comes to either Flesh and Blood or anything really. Um, so to start, we both got a skirmish win, which is really cool. Um, and we met in the finals of a
Cool.
skirmish, which is also pretty cool. We got to play a game against each other there. Um, do you want to speak on your year in review when it came to the decks you chose to play?
I think oh yeah. I obviously I'm a Guardian player. I've talked about it every single podcast. But I felt super successful on the Guardians I did take. Early this year in the first ProQuest season, I took Jarl to it's been a weird year. I haven't been able to actually go to as many ProQuests or Road to Nats as I want. but I did take Jarl to a top 4 in a pro quest. I think there was another top 8 that I went with Jarl to. I'm pretty sure it was, but I'm like, I made it to top 8 in 2 pro quests, which I was very happy with. And the top 4, I was like actually pleasantly surprised because I think I started off a little rough. I won my first game, then lost my second. And I'm like, man, I'm pretty much out of this, but I'll keep playing. And then I won out from there. Or I think I won up until my last round. So that was pretty cool. But then like what I've been like really happy with is like my Valda performance, like with my top 8 ProQuest Valda report performance. Because it was a deck that like nobody was playing. And I don't go on like the purple Discord too often. Like I go every once in a blue moon, but it's something where I didn't see or I didn't go into purple Discord. I didn't have any. There's no videos online, no deck text, no nothing. It's like really is like all my own creation was like going in. I'm like, okay, well I'm gonna make this Valda deck. I'm gonna do what I can to make this deck good. And it was something where I was like really proud of the deck I made and the preparation I had. So being able to take Valda into the top 8 of a pro quest was like super cool, like really promised, like it felt really good. And I think this is like my most consistent year I've ever had. I've never been like hyper competitive. I've never been to nationals. I've never been to like like a pro tour. The highest event I've ever performed in is a calling, and I haven't made it to day 2. So like to go this year, and unfortunately I couldn't make it to anything bigger than a pro quest, but I think the most of pro quest I went to, if not all of them, I actually made it into top 8 with both Jarl and Valda, which is very cool and like very inspiring to me for someone that's like feels like I'm on the like cusp of being competitive a lot of the time. It's cool to be able to take a Jarl build that wasn't necessarily popular, but I had confidence in taking that to top 8 and taking Valda, a deck that one no one thought would be good, and like something that was really all of my own creation up to a top 8 was really cool.
Yeah, yeah, you basically pioneered that deck. Is there, like you said, there wasn't much information out there. You made the information for it. You did the hard work. You did the testing, the iteration on the deck, and you got results with it too. And like I mentioned before the podcast, you got results in not just one format, but two formats in CC and Blitz, because your skirmish one was on Valda, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
Um,
I still hold the belief if Blitz didn't change to Singleton and was like the same, I hold the belief that Valda was best deck,
yeah,
and it's just something that was like just not realized. And I had convinced, I think, all like a lot of locals around the area that like Valda was the best Blitz deck. Like she was
it was
crazy
pretty
strong.
good. It was pretty
It was
good.
it definitely felt broken at some points where it's like, oh, turn 0, create 3 seismic surge. I'm gonna throw this for 10 dominate. You're at 20 health.
Good luck.
And it's like good luck.
Yeah.
Oh, it like oh man, she like definitely felt broken, and her worst matchups in like Blitz were like 55-45 her favor. Like it felt crazy good.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was a good cook from you. Um, yeah, and then I basically cooked. Well, I didn't really cook Dio. I played a lot of Dio, and I felt like I basically mastered the deck this year, which is cool.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't. It was basically my first real home since Dromai left. I had a lot of other decks that I tried out. Enigma was fine. It wasn't really the same at all though. Um, as Dromai, I never really felt comfortable with it. Um, and then it's still funny. I still get to this day people going, "Wait, why aren't you playing Gravy?" Which I agree. I probably should just be playing Gravy, but Dash IO was just so fun. And I feel like I've effectively mastered the deck. I've learned a lot of the matchups. I like a lot of the sideboard options and tech that I can do into it, and it just feels comfortable to me to play it, and that was a big deal for me. Um, and then I want to review some of the travel that I've done this year. Uh, I went to Pro Tour London with Enigma, and I cashed that event. I went to Nationals in Vegas. I brought Vincent, and I did absolutely terrible. I think I went like 1-4 drop or something crazy like that. And then I basically played poker the rest of the weekend in Vegas and did pretty well there instead. So I went to Vegas to play Flesh and Blood, and I instead did well in poker. So that was a fun tournament. And then brought Dash.io to Calling Kansas, and didn't day two, but actually couldn't even play day two even if I wanted to. So uh, did as well as I really needed to for that event. And then I took Dash.io again to Battle Hardened Phoenix. I made top 8 of the Battle Hardened, and then took second at the PQ Plus on Sunday, which was really cool. And then I played Viserai at the World Championship in Philadelphia. Um, and yeah, so a lot of travel for me this year when it came to Flesh and Blood, and I'm proud of my results. I didn't do as well as I would obviously hope I would do, but I'm still happy with the results that I had for all the travel that I did. And then the last thing for this year is I started redoing my collection sorting. I have been working on a common and rare playset of all the sets for a while now, and I basically have been redoing my collection organization to better find out what I'm missing so I can finish that playset of everything. And I'm close. I'm almost done. And a huge shout out to a lot of the locals like Dan, Ari, and there's someone else I'm forgetting. Saren helped out too with getting bulk for some of these newer sets that I wasn't able to get a lot of product for. So I'm almost done. I'm almost through sorting everything, all this bulk, and putting them into binders. And then I'm gonna have a video on that, like I mentioned earlier. I'm gonna make a video on how I sorted this collection, how I'm storing it, and everything. Probably early next year is my hope. But yeah. Anything else you want to
I
talk
want to
about?
say,
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to say, like, it was like super cool to see like your run this year because like I think there was a lot of really cool and great things that you did, and it was so cool to watch you play in like Pro Tour London Day 2.
Yeah, I was
Like
on
I
stream for
remember
that one, which was
waking
cool.
up, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I remember waking up and like putting on the stream and like you're like just getting on stream. And I'm like, this is perfect. Like I like it was a very cool year to like one like be able to like do this podcast with you, but like also like sit down and like just watch how you performed. Like not everyone's gonna go crazy at every event, but there was a lot of events where you did really well. So it was like super cool to be able to do that.
Yeah,
But
I was
like to
pretty.
be able to be here to see you do that is what I mean.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of that stream game, I was actually pretty proud of how I played. There was one mistake, one like quote unquote blunder that I made, but outside of that, like I have a testing team that I work with, and I was like, hey, how did you guys think about the game outside of this one spot where I know I made a mistake? And they're like, yeah, we think you played perfectly outside of that, and I was like, yes, like I feel good about my play outside of that one spot. I feel really good about my play,
Mhm.
which was cool. Um, but yeah, yeah, exactly. I've been pretty happy with my performance, especially compared to last year. Because post Dromai, I did not do very well at anything. I will say, I really wish that I got my invite to Yokohama. That was something I was disappointed in when it came to my performance this year. I brought Dash.io, and I was not playing very well at a lot of the tournaments. I just made a lot of mistakes. Didn't quite get there. And then there was one PQ that I should have got there, but I had to play against our boy Luke, Anarchy Please, in the Dash.io mirror. And unfortunately, the Dash.io mirror just sometimes does not go your way. So, um, yeah, that's the biggest thing that really the only thing I'm disappointed in this year was that the not getting my Pro Tour invite. But it's fine. We'll get him next year. Early next year.
First weekend next year?
Yeah, basically. But yeah, anything else you want to talk about when it comes to yourself for this year before we jump into how it's going to look for next year?
I'm ready to talk about next year.
Hell yeah. Would you like to start with anything?
So first we'll talk about like what Flesh and Blood is talked about, but I like one thing I want you to think on is like what are some goals you have for yourself next year? Because we were talking about like our performances. We don't have it in the show notes, but that's something I was like, that would be kind of an interesting question to ask.
Yeah. I
But
I think what I want to start with is I want to say that I don't want to set any specific performance goals for next year. Like I don't want to say, oh, I want to, you know, win a calling or do anything like that. Like obviously I want to do that, but I don't want to set a goal to do that. I think that will end up leading to what am I trying to say? It'll end up leading to disappointment if I don't get there, even if it's not my fault for not getting there. But some goals that I would like to put out there. Number one is be is really diving into Silver Age and building plenty of decks and playing more at locals with Silver Age. That's actually I'm gonna start with that one. I want to play more locals. Unfortunately, I was not really able to go to many armories at all this the second half, maybe even more of this year. Um, and I want to try to make out more locals. I really miss connecting with the community that way, and opening those gem packs and, and stuff like that. And I think Silver Age will be a really great way to reconnect with the local scene. And I want to I want to get into it via Silver Age. Really building more decks, having more decks to lend out to people, being a little bit more of like an ambassador to get new people into the game, which I think Silver Age is um, really good for. And another goal is to get my collection sorted. And I'm trying to think of a third goal, a third non-performance related goal to do. Oh, I guess more content. I want to do more non or additional to the podcast content when it comes to like streams or deck
Mhm.
techs and stuff like that. I think those are my three main goals: is a, attend more armories, do more content on this channel, and um, really dive into the Silver Age and like ambassador part of that. How about you?
So some of my goals are probably like I definitely want to do more content as well. Like I want to be able to I want to put more time into like deck techs maybe or even just like fun silly things. But it's like I want to invest more into like ourselves and just like show more of what could be done in Flesh and Blood. Like that would be really cool. One goal that I have is I like not even like a performance goal, but I want to go to an event, like a big event. I want to go to a calling this year. I want to go to like Worlds or a Pro Tour or something like that. Like I want to go there. This year was crazy because like we were talking about earlier, I got a promotion, my shifts were all changed, and when I won like tried to go to Worlds, like three other people like asked for a vacation that weekend, and I was like, well, one, I'm probably not going to get this, but two, it's like living legend, and I didn't have any practice into calling that way, so I kind of just gave it up. But it was something where it's like I want to go to an event. I didn't go all last year, and I love going to those events. So that's a big goal of mine is just to go to an event, and it's like I want I don't know, and I just want to do something notable on Valda. Is probably my third goal. Like if that's doing something big at an event, or if that's just like going and streaming every once in a while, where it's like, okay, like this is the Valda guy. Like I need Valda help. This is the guy I go to. Like I want to like because like I'm invested in Valda. I love Valda so much. He's so cool to play, and it's just I want to like I want to help continue pioneer this deck, and that's something where it's like I think those are kind of my main goals.
That's like, yeah. I mean, you actually kind of already done the you're already kind of the Valda guy. I brought this up to you a while back, but in my testing team's Discord server, they literally posted your deck tech video in there. I was like, hey, here's a source for Valda, starting place for Valda, and so I was like, hey, that's my co-host. That's pretty cool. But yeah, you'll definitely get there next year. That's a cool goal to
Yeah,
have.
because like I don't want to set a performance goal, but I know it would be easy. Like I went on a or like a pro quest with Valda. Like boom, here's a big deck. Like, but it's something like I want to still like I still want to help pioneer and further that deck because I think it's better than the amount of people that are playing it. Like I think it's better than like one person at a calling playing it.
Yeah, no, I agree. When I see you like Valda in your hands, it should be doing more results than it has been. I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I totally believe that you'll get your top four Nats invite and then go to Nats next year. I think that'd be a really sick.
that would be super sick.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I think that can definitely happen for you. Um, yeah, and then some other stuff. Looking forward to next year, our 52nd episode, which I mentioned earlier. I think we should do a live stream for it, a live episode.
Hmm.
We'll discuss probably the week before. We'll figure out an exact time for it. Make sure our schedules work and maybe make it a good time for other people to be able to join for that episode.
Right. Maybe
So
like a night one day.
yeah, maybe like a Friday night or like a Saturday, early Saturday or something that people can actually like hop in and live chat with us for. But yeah, more notes on that probably on the 51st episode. Um,
Mhm.
and then Silver Age, really looking forward to that format and everything that comes along with it. Um, uh, Aurora 2. I think that'll be pretty cool to see how they handle that.
I'm
Um,
excited to see Aurora
mhm.
too.
Monarch 3, which we know is coming next year. I'm excited for that one. Um, the Armory deck Hala and the Mastery packs, just all the new content, the new cards and everything. And is there anything else I missed that you've thought of for next year?
No, that's pretty much all that I was thinking of, but I am so excited for Monarch 3. Like,
Hmm.
I can't tell you how excited I am for Monarch 3
Yeah.
because it is like Flesh and Blood's most developed storyline. And it feels like this like is it's I don't know, it feels like everything's piling up into this. Like once Monarch 3 like finally comes out, I feel like that's going to be like we always talk like the eras of Flesh and Blood. We're talking about the eras of Flesh and Blood and like oh like this is 2.0 Flesh and Blood, but I honestly think that's going to be like a defining point of like hey like in for like especially lore but like a defining point in Flesh and Blood's history of like boom this came out, lore came out, this is like I don't know, like it just feels like Flesh and Blood has been building up to this. Like everything we've done up until this point is to complete and finish this story of Monarch 3. And it's like sure we have a couple side quests that is like, "Oh, by the way, here's Super Slam." Like
Mm.
forget everyone what everyone else is doing for a minute. Look at this cool little finding arena going on. Okay, back to it. Let's build up this story. And it's like something where it's like if they've been doing like PvE in the background and like it's been the best kept secret, then like that's when I imagine it would come out. Like I think that would be like the coolest and best time to be like, hey, by the way, you've been asking for PvE. We've been secretly designing PvE. It's been how many years that we've talked about it? But
Right.
like boom, here it is. Like it comes out with the idea of all these old ones breaking out. Like the I forget who, but like the dragon in the volcano wakes up. You have all this crazy stuff going on. I don't know. I'm really excited. Like I can't. I'm really hyped up for it.
Yeah, a lot of exciting stuff for next year. Um, yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. Anything else you want to say before we end this podcast for the last podcast of 2025?
Again, I just want to say thank you to everyone listening. It's been a great 47 episodes. Yeah,
40,
47
yes, this is
episodes.
47. Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for the support.
Yeah.
Can't wait to do it all again next year.
Yep. Yeah, really appreciate everybody. Every time we get a comment on a video, it's exciting. Just what no matter what it is, it's fun to see the
Mhm.
comments. I'll always go in and heart the comments in there from the channel because I just like when people engage with our content. It really makes it feel like we're doing something worthwhile. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so speaking of comments, let us know about your year in the comments below. What you're excited about for next year, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify. And with that, I'm Cody,
And I'm Jacob.
and thank you for watching and listening. See you next year.